Welcome back to the Audacity Hour. We are here with Marissa and the lovely Mary.
Thank you, Clarissa.
We are actually still at the park today.
We're still at the park.
It was supposed to rain, but you know what? If you just believe that it wasn't going to,
We manifested it.
honestly, because look, the
really
sun's
did.
out now. The sun's out, the flowers are out, that dandelion.
We're out here.
Yeah,
Clarissa,
we're doing the
and
damn thing.
let's do it. So I wanted to start with new beginning for this episode, and we could talk about current events.
Okay.
And what's going on in the world since last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure all of you out there are talking about this. I want to dive into that, Clarissa, because it is the audacity.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna say.
Klay
Thompson.
What's wrong with you,
Klay,
bro?
he looks like the Target Bulldogs. We're not here to hate on him. Yes, we are.
Yeah, we're here to understand, like, what could possibly have happened.
I think it still kind of works down into that narrative of if a guy wants to do, a guy is going to lead with power, at least from what we know. She is the stallion. She is better than he is in every aspect. Maybe she's even athletically. Yes, he plays for the NBA, all this other stuff. But she has all of that with her. She's had all that in the past. She's already accomplished so many of those things. He feels threatened. What do? The only thing they can do, and us as women, we love so hard. He's trying to control the situation, so he cheated. Or so they claim. I don't know.
So the story is that infidelity, something else, or trust, like lie, infidelity, trust, lies. Okay, we've seen this before.
It was a speculation from a third party or whatnot. What did she say? Walked around playing house, something of that sort. And that's another thing. No matter what you give a man, unless he really wants to be with you, he's going to do whatever he wants to do.
So how long were they dating? Do we know? Was it like a year?
I think about a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because they are in the limelight all the time, it was such a big thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like Megan Thee Stallion doesn't deserve certain things. She is a woman, has done everything she is supposed to do.
100%.
And I think it comes to a point where us as women, we always just put the blame back on us, where we do whatever we need to do to survive in life, to make sure ourselves are taken care of, our families are taken care of. And then all we ask for in return is love. Everyone's definition of love is different. Once we find someone to pour ourselves into, and then for someone to kind of drag you along and then to take it back and to do something of that sort, I think it's unfair, but what do I know?
I think you know a lot, Clarissa. I hear you. We experience this as women on a smaller scale. Regular civilian person, you know, we experience this. But then when we see that being done to somebody who's really famous and has it all and does it all and is on such a platform, then it's the same thing.
It was a whole, I don't know if you saw, but everyone was like, if you can cheat on Megan Thee Stallion, then none of us are safe.
Yeah. Hello. Yes.
But in the end, it always reverts back to men in power, men in power, men in power. That's how he needed to feel powerful. That's how he needed to hone in on his situation. Yeah. So he did what he did. It's not right. Never is it right. But for him to feel some type of way, for him to feel superior, and especially if someone of that stature, and that's what we kind of spoke upon with our last podcast, our last episode, where women, no matter what happens, no matter what title you're at, there's always going to be a man above you. And that's the hierarchy that has been invented by man.
And that's been programmed. That's been done purposefully for that. And, Klay Thompson, you cheated on Megan Thee Stallion. Insane.
Not that I don't think she wants to even date anymore. I
think she's going to really just be
focused on herself. She was head over heels on that guy. And that was another thing. We give an ugly dude a chance every time. We give an ugly dude a chance.
Look what happened.
Because they're nice and they're kind and they're this. Because that's how women love.
Yeah.
But men love they look at your features first and they stick to that. And not only your tax bracket, but your looks bracket too. No, seriously. Because if you're going to get burned by someone that doesn't make as much money as you, at least get burned by someone who's at least more decent looking than you.
At least get burned by somebody who looks good. Okay. Oh my God. I do champion Megan for this whole thing is that she spoke out. Maybe some women wouldn't feel comfortable or be pressured or would be controlled enough to not speak out. And then it would be Klay with the narrative, right?
Stallion always speaks out, though.
She does.
That's why we mess with her. That's why we like her. No matter what, she speaks out, whether it's Tory Lanez or...
I don't know what happened with that.
He shot her in the foot and then there was a lot to it. You can look at the story.
Oh my God. Look at the story.
Yeah, no, but and then he was trying to say she's a snitch. Yeah, there's a lot to it, but that woman is always going to speak her mind. She's educated. She's athletic. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's Megan Thee Stallion.
She is the
with a body.
She is the woman and the audacity of Klay Thompson. Good job. We're not really shocked. We're not really surprised.
No matter how small or big you are as a man, a dog is a dog. A dog is a dog, no matter the breed. No matter the breed. Because this is where it kind of runs into that narrative of people saying, oh, you're a man hater. You're this, you're right. If you say a dog is a dog, then why would you date men? Because you should know how to train your dog. That's it. It's a matter of training your dog. Any dog can be trained as long as he's willing to be trained.
Exactly. As long as he's willing to listen and to change and to get better and to practice. You should probably practice these things. And most men don't want to do that. And I think that that's a great topic for later on, is that, like we talked about this before, men are selfish and they selfish beings, little beings, and that's what they focus on. It's not really why do they do what they do, because I feel like no, but why can't they practice change, and why can't it be different?
Men to stay in the past. They just stay in the past.
Wow, that is good.
One thing I've noticed with a lot of men is that whenever they fault at anything, they resort back to, well, it's because my mom left me, or something happened when I was a child.
Excuses?
Yeah, so many excuses, right? We would say excuses, but these aren't excuses anymore when you decide to keep doing it over and over again. So now these are choices. But with that being said, it's all faulted back to their past.
Right.
And a lot of them don't know how to move on past that. And in one thing that'll happen to them, right? And they're like, oh my God, the world's over. That's the only thing I'm gonna lean on. That's my personality now.
Yeah.
And it's so agitating.
It is agitating and so frustrating.
Calibrated in them to be weak. No, not to be weak. No, really. No, it's in their DNA, unfortunately, where they don't know how to cope and deal with things properly. When they do cope and deal with things properly, it's not the same way we do. They have to physically push it out of them, hence cheating, hence doing lifting and sports and anything. Think of sports and how intense their sports are.
So that's great that you bring that back to Klay with the NBA. I can't even imagine what they do. Like, what do these guys do?
Only imagine it's him being, I'm stressed because of that. I'm stressed because of the game. So I went to go mess on someone else.
I'm stressed because I have to make these millions of dollars.
Meanwhile, she has a whole empire going. Like, she has so much going for herself. That's another thing when it comes to men. We can carry, I kid you not, like 20 things, and we're still not going to cheat on you.
Yeah. 100%.
And one thing can happen to them. One thing can happen in the sense of, you weren't taking care of me because you were busy with 20 things. So I'm going to cheat on you because you're not giving me any attention.
Oh my God. And we say that for the people in the back. 100%. Also, I hear damage control. Damage control.
They all want moms.
They want to be like.
I'm not going to say men, because men don't act like this. Yeah. A lot of but there's 90% boys, okay, that haven't evolved fully to men.
Yeah.
They don't know what they want. They don't know how they want to live their lives, and they morph themselves into beings, and basically into what a woman wants, right?
Right.
And then eventually morph themselves into a woman. The personality, they adapt and they adhere to our personality.
Yeah.
And then they sit there and they blame us once again, blaming someone about themselves.
100%.
You made me this way. You did this. You did that.
Yeah. They flip it. It's the damage control, and they flip it to whatever they can do to get back to.
It's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's your
that
fault.
identity. That identity of what they've been practicing since they were little. They're so indoctrinated into toxic masculinity at a young age, and then they practice that for so long,
and they all come together collectively. They don't know how to jump out of it.
The NBA. That's what they do.
But they don't know, because they all collectively are so rah with each other. You know, it's that, what is that? What the
camaraderie?
Yeah.
Camaraderie. Or
those type of guys. Like the jocks. The jocks. And they don't know how. And then if you look at it, if you step out of it, you're treated they treat you in a feminine sense. They're like, oh, you're a girl, you're a bitch, you're this. First of all, why are we derogatory?
Why are we using SSY? I don't even like saying that word, but why do we use that word?
But when they want to sit there and they want to talk down on another man for having his own opinion, having his own voice, they throw a derogatory a term that kind of depicts a woman. And state that he's one of us. So you're a strong, independent woman. Okay.
I also see the facade of it, right? I see with Klay and Megan again. Klay was picking a girl that has it all together and has it all lined up, and then he wants that for himself. And then it's not that way. And so the facade of it is when he realizes that it's not true and that he's the weak link, then it's.
Let's go back to a man. And yes, he has a lot going for him.
Okay.
Does he catch? I don't know him personally. Physically, no. Okay, we're just gonna say that. Okay. Megan Thee Stallion, a catch all over, all around. Okay,
everything.
So you see a woman, you see a trophy. I was told this one time. Women are phrased as trophies.
Yeah.
And when men see trophies, because they love to be in competition with each other, right?
Yeah.
They see a trophy, they're gonna go for the goal. No matter what you need to do to get there, they're gonna go for the goal, whether you want the goal or not. You just want to be you want to be the one to say that I got it. And guess what happens when you kind of go through the hoops and you do whatever you need to do, you kind of slide your way through a snake and then you get it. You don't know how to obtain it.
You just know you want it and you don't know what to do.
Then once you get it, you don't know what to do. So guess what happens? Oh, there's a new shiny object. Let me go find something else.
Yeah, let's start the game over again. Because we know how to play the game, but we don't know what to do when we're done. What else do we do?
You start a new game.
Yeah, you start a new game.
You find another trophy to find.
We could talk about sports and women, actually. Sports and women and men. Sports for men are such part of their identity and competition and winning and success. And that's so ingrained in them. Megan Thee Stallion was Klay's trophy. And then he was like, I'm done now. Now it's either boring or I'm not adequate enough or
she's not shiny anymore.
Not new anymore. He has to go off and find something else to keep that identity. It's like, I think the shedding part of it is what needs to happen for men. Shut off that identity. You can let it go. It is toxic. Let it go. And you'll be a better person and more who you are and who you want to be. But I mean, sports have been part of men and what they do since hunter or gatherer. If you're a hunter, that hunting is a sport. So it's you've already been ingrained in that for eons. So, and then they just keep going off of that since then. So even they see football as really the modern day gladiators. They're in the stadium, how much force and how much violence there is, their money, all the things. And then with women in sports, it is competitive, but we don't have that. We don't go to the animalistic space.
Oh no, not in our DNA to be that. We are nurturers. We're not here to, again, we're the gatherers. We gather and we get everyone together. We get the food together. We take the food that they've hunted, make it and gather everyone and build our village, as opposed to them where they're able to kind of be lone wolves. That's where that term comes from now when a lot of women are kind of in the same boat where they're a lone wolf. A lot of people, they kind of connect that to them being manly.
No, 100%. They do. They do connect that stereotype when it comes to sports, because if you're a sporty girl, then that masculinity is already, they already expect that through all sports, really, in a little ways. And because you have to be tough enough or whatever, and
tough enough to step on other people to get what you want.
Yeah. The gladiator mindset. And I didn't piece it together, call it something until now. So
I think she's a catch.
I think so too, Clarissa.
She's gone through a lot in life too. That's why I was like, a lot of good things to come her way. It's manifested for her because she's gone through so much and she's by herself. She's alone. She's a lone wolf, not by choice though. But I think her putting in all that effort into him, disappointed, but again, not shocked. One thing I've learned when it comes to boys is that they will always think about themselves. So we need to start thinking about ourselves too.
And that is actually healing and should be natural for us as women.
But we're gatherers.
Yeah. But we think of others.
We always think of others. I had this conversation with one of my other friends where earlier today, I closed a chapter in one of my books. I always say, we're not supposed to know everyone, right? But when we meet somebody, we're supposed to learn something from that person and then eventually close that chapter. We don't belong to anyone and everyone, right? No. Nobody on this planet other than probably our kids because they came from us, but we don't belong to anyone and no one belongs to us. But me telling my friend that earlier today, it's crazy because at some point, I know this about myself. I'm a very caring person. I have a separate exterior that I think that's my wall that's been up. So I show that on the surface, but deep down, I care deeply for a lot of people. They said that's just instilled in us as women. And I think that's where they see us as weakness. Yes. With that being said, I care so deeply about people so much where even with this chapter being closed, I still had to say my like goodbyes, my farewells, and
Closure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was not only for myself, but because I was that other person doesn't deserve that. I told myself I hate myself for this reason because why am I like this? Because no matter who, whether it's platonic or romantic, I always feel so deeply for people that are around me, and I don't hate that about myself, but I do dislike it to a certain extent. But then I came to terms earlier today where I was, you know what? No, I don't dislike that about myself. That's
Good
the
for
reason why
you,
I am the way
Melissa.
I am. Because I would rather love so deeply and get hurt every single time than have no feelings towards anything. And I hate that for us as women because that's what they take advantage of.
Yes. Yes. I would rather love than be a sociopath. 100%. Men, they lean towards the sociopathic tendencies for what's been instilled in them. And it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
I think that's what we generationally, that's what we go forward with and kind of what we learn to do. And that's why they have to shed that off or balance it out a little bit more. If you bring out that love and that goodness, it'll be better. You don't
It's
have to
hard
fear it.
for them to shed because
Yeah.
collectively they all are like that. It's like for
Yeah.
us, right? When we are, when we are very in our masculine era, a lot of women look down on us because of that, right?
True.
Because we put
Yeah.
that wall up just like
Yeah.
them. We
Yeah.
have a hard exterior.
Yeah.
Because collectively as women, we don't do that. I think we all together need to realize, number one, everyone's different.
Yeah.
And number two, we need to stop putting stereotype to the stereotype and let people live their lives.
Yeah. So, question then, why do you think that people have this? Because I see it so much in adults, have this divide or these judgments, women and men. If you're in a room full of adults, you're automatically judging this person or looking at this person or thinking these things and acting certain ways. Why can't adults be able to shed that off and just lead with love?
Because that's instilled in us since we're young.
I think that as well. I also think because of fear, because at the end of the day, and our ego, fear of losing. We also want our ego to be.
That all starts when we're young.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And our life experiences. You said everybody is different. Everybody goes through life in more ways than one. And so you don't know. So it's what I try to practice, and I haven't done this forever. Also, it also depends on where you're at, because if you have to have that facade in certain spaces like business or
your customer service space.
Yeah, your customer services. Yeah, when you're dealing with the public or if you're in law enforcement, you have to have these. But when it comes to other things, maybe a school or education or if you're working with kids, or if you're in a safe space where you could lead with love first. And I know that men don't do that. They don't.
What's the saying that you attract more flies with honey?
I forget.
I think it's something that you attract more flies with honey than vinegar.
Than vinegar. I was gonna say shit.
But you bring in more people, and not that that's the end goal, because I understand some people don't mind being by themselves and whatnot, but that's not how it works. Unfortunately, you can sit there and be a hermit and be by yourself all you want, but in the end, you still need some type of interaction.
You still need engagement, community.
But 100%. You being nice will always pull people in, and not fake nice, genuine, genuinely nice. But as opposed to you being an evil and vindictive person. And nobody wants to be in a friendship where you're competing with them. No one wants to be in a relationship where you're competing with them nonstop. No one wants that type of person around because it's exhausting.
Yes. We already experience that so much in life with the world, and even with different cultures too. Like this is how our experiences are from what we see and what we interact with within America and within our community. But I can't only imagine how it is behaviors and sociology in other countries and what that means. Just leading with love as women is what is best, and for everybody. And it's harder for men. It really is. As you said, but they practice the opposite for so long. So yeah, Klay Thompson, figure it out, dude. Okay.
And it's what's crazy is that every single relationship that he's been in, it's been like this. So clearly he's
has it, because I don't know his history.
Yeah. So clearly he gets with these beautiful women and just trash everything. But that's a pattern. He's an Aquarius man too. So. Is he? Yeah. She's also an Aquarius, but she's an Aquarius woman.
Okay.
An Aquarius man.
Tell me about that.
They're very nonchalant, as you can tell by his personality.
Yeah.
And they don't care about anything. I don't think men care about anything at all.
Okay. let's go into astrology really quickly. Also Stephen Curry. Where's Stephen Curry always? Can you help Klay? Like, I feel like Stephen is doing great. He has his wife and kids.
She has a lot.
Is she?
She
I
is
don't
just
know.
apparently a lot of things are misconstrued where she was
Really?
on a podcast and she
Was
basically was
she?
stating that she didn't want to be a wife, didn't want to be a mom. But with that, people change. They've been married since they were really, really young.
Yeah.
And I was at that point when I was really young. Look at me now with my
Yeah.
kids, but people change. People are allowed to
change.
have a different opinion with
Yeah.
different phases of life. She was able to word it, didn't
Mhm.
come off properly. And it came off as a lot of people were bagging her and saying that you're not even a catch. You're the worst thing that's ever happened to Stephen Curry. But he's sitting there, he's defending his wife, he's taking care of things. She has PR on her now, but now she's PR training.
Yeah,
So-
she has a damn.
I agree with her because they were young when they got together.
Yeah.
People change. And
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that your opinions on life, you're able to,
Yeah.
I'm not the same person when I had my first child. I was
100%,
18,
same.
30 now, I'm 31 now.
Yeah.
If I look back at myself, yeah, I did things that didn't make any sense, but I'm grateful for what I did, where it got me, because I'm here with you. I'm here with my kids, I'm here. I met the people that I met along the way.
Yeah.
But I think that people don't realize that people change with age and with time, and like you said, with experiences. And I think men can do that too, but they choose not to.
They do that. I just want to go back to that really quickly, like with Aisha. I think that her expressing that she didn't want to be a wife or a mother, people put so much shame on that. Like, because, well, you chose to do this. Well, it's like, okay, she was an adult, but like we go through so many, like you're saying, so many different phases and people change, and it's okay. Like I hear that because, I mean, do I want to be all those things that I should be every single day? Like, no.
That's not my identity.
Yeah, exactly. It's not our identity. It's not it's not the only thing. Like we're not over consumed with being a wife and being a mother. So that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
Because I think that when it comes to dynamics like that, and when she has a camera in front of her and they have such a spotlight, is like, maybe she feels she's not living her authentic life, right? Like because look at them. Like they do have the specific gender roles. That she's has the whole cooking empire and all that. He does sports. It's a very basic gender role.
It's funny because people were trying to talk down on her. The whole thing about it is that she wants to have her own identity.
Yeah.
Hence why she got it. Well, she's always been a cook, but she started to do cooking roles, had her own cookbook, had her own show for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then people in the comments are like, without Stephen Curry, we wouldn't know who you are. That's the exact thing that she's saying.
Yeah. That's
and of
what
course,
she's trying to communicate.
And of course, who's that saying that?
Yeah.
They're always they love bashing us.
Yeah.
What was I saying on my TikTok where I
Which
posted
one?
something about like I was like, POV, pretty much you don't want to be a woman. You don't want to let me read it. This is propaganda I'm not falling for. Having no goals as a woman because you think your future husband will take care of you.
Oh, that's
and
right.
tell me why a man gets upset at that. Are you a wife?
Because they want
to control.
They want
they want to be in control. So
because in that role, Carissa, then we serve them.
Exactly. His response, having no husband because you focus on your goals, and he starts laughing. I posted TikToks where I did not, obviously, it wasn't intentional for men to be triggered by it. Sure. It was to empower women. Right? And I posted one TikTok many months ago.
Happened?
I don't know if you saw that trend that was happening a while ago. Basically, it's like zodiac signs. I'm the zodiac, and these are the zodiac signs I don't get along with. What I posted was, I'm a Leo, and I don't get along with, and I listed every single 12 zodiacs, right? Yeah. But it said Cancer, men, Pisces, men, Virgo, men, right? Yeah. And the guys were living in the comments. They're like, this is why you're single, this is why this is why that. First of all, you don't even have a profile picture. Don't come at me sideways.
First of all, you're a ghost on social media.
Exactly. You're just a little phantom that's walking around. It was supposed to be lighthearted and playful, but they're, this is why you're this is why you're that. You're probably and again, you probably hit all of them, and that's why you know this right now. It's like, this is a joke.
It's not that serious.
It really isn't.
Not that serious.
It never is that
it's
serious.
Social media.
No matter what you post, no matter what you say, no matter what you do as a woman, they're going to be triggered.
100%. We just exist. And they're like, you're not doing what we tell you to do?
How come you're not laughing at my non-fucking funny ass joke? How come you didn't, that thing when they're like, you look better when you smile?
I hate that.
I'm not smiling at you for a reason.
Correct. And we don't need to, actually.
Yeah, we don't. But hence why I'm not smiling at you. You're scary. You're scary to look at. You're not easy on my eyes.
We don't want any association. That's why.
And then what happens when you smile? They take it as an open invitation.
Yeah.
Maybe get this straight, and then we can be normal with you guys.
and then we can be cool. Let's just be cool and support women. Support women. Okay, everybody.
Thank you, sunshine. Support women. Support women. Support
and
women.
the light arrives.
Support women. We've supported men for so long.
For way too long and way too much. Let's flip it. And are we asking a lot? I feel it's not a lot. It's not a lot at all.
I feel like we're just asking for equality.
Yeah, we're just asking to be treated like human beings. How about that? Yeah. But let's go back to astrology. Tell us your astrology sign.
I'm a Leo.
You're a Leo.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and can you dive a little bit into that? I know you really dive in. Is that a water sign?
That's a fire sign.
It's a fire sign.
And Leos are known from what people say about us when everything revolves around us, when in actuality, the sun revolves around us. Look it up. Hence the sun. But no, that's funny because we're known to be very vibrant people, very loving, very caring, deeply caring on top of that.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
But we're very loyal to our people, not everyone. There's a lot of good things about a Leo, but no one really likes us because I feel we're very into ourselves, which I think you should be.
Yeah.
I think everyone should be into themselves.
We're trying to say it's okay. That is what we should be doing.
It's okay to be cocky. It's okay to love yourself.
Yes.
As long as you're able to give a little bit of love elsewhere too. But as a Leo, we're known for our hair.
Because of is that like
the lion's mane?
Oh, that cannot be manifested more in your beautiful
I did my hair today, okay? You guys have seen it. It's been worse.
Don't look at my hair. I flipped it way too many times. It's an awkward stage, okay?
I love being a Leo. I don't care what anyone says.
I love that for you.
And I'm an August Leo. I'm 8/8, the portal, if you know anything of that.
I don't know anything of that.
8,
Can you please tell me what that means?
When you flip the 8, it's an infinity sign, and 8 is a very lucky number in many astrological, in many religions and cultures, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So then what is your favorite number?
My favorite number is 3. My favorite number is 3.
Okay. I love that. Anything else that you want to add?
No, but the thing is we're loud. We can be obnoxious.
Yeah.
But we do like solitude. Our sign is depicted by the lion. We're leaders of the pack. The lion is, right? But we love to be around people. We're very vibrant, again. But we have to be left alone when we need to. Yes. I feel like that's me to a T. I hate because people are like, oh, you shouldn't base things off of people's astrological signs. I'm not basing anything off of your astrological. I'm not basing everything. I should say not anything. No. Because when you look at astrological signs and you look at kind of the breakdown of everything, we're just looking at pattern recognition. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I can talk about when it comes to Leos and how similar we all Leos are. Obviously, every single person is different because with that, you have your other astrological signs that follow after that and your birth charts. But but your main sign really shows a lot about you as a person. So makes sense. The people I've met, I've done comparisons to even before even knowing what they are. Mm-hmm. I'm like, and then once I find out, that makes sense.
I was just gonna say accurate, or not even accurate, but how well does knowing other people's astral signs, how does that flow? It seems to flow really well.
I know what I'm not compatible with. I know.
Okay, tell me, what is it?
I'm not, and I'm gonna say this as men because as women, it does differ between men and women.
Okay, sure. You have to tell me.
Myself. I'm not compatible with Pisces, men and women.
Okay.
I think for a very brief moment I am, and then eventually they're water signs. I'm a fire sign. Clearly. Yeah.
Connect.
Yes. Not compatible with them. I know many, and I think it always ends on bad terms. It never ends amicable at all. It always ends on crappy terms. So with that, I'm really good. I'm really good with earth signs.
Okay.
Also because my big 3 involves a lot of earth signs.
Okay. Earth. You get along with earth signs, which makes sense because you're an earthy gal in your own way. Sure.
Well, I'm a Leo, Virgo, so I'm an fire.
What
earth,
does that
earth.
mean?
3. My big 3 is my rising, my sun. I have a lot of earth in me, so I get along with Tauruses, Virgos, and Capricorns, and obviously my fellow Leos and my fire signs. A lot of fire signs, like we're known to be because we're fire. We're crazy, right? We're chaotic. Yeah. So the fire signs are the Aries, the Sagittarius, and the Leos. And we're known to be very loud in people's spaces. I made a Discord. I made a Discord for any of the witchy girlies that are in Sonoma County. Whether you're witchy or not, or you're an herbalist or holistic medicine or anything of that sort. Anything you guys want to talk about, let's
do it.
Yes.
And join us, okay? Because it is.
I just love hearing, and I love being around other women. I love feeling the energy of other women.
100%.
regardless of what we're talking about.
100%. I want to do something other than we have to go together to buy stuff. Like,
No.
yeah,
I
like
hate that stereotype of like,
I
women like to
know.
shop. That's what we all do. What are you planning to do? You planning to go shop?
Yeah.
Bro, can we just sit down in a field
Without our shoes on,
without our
and can we
shoes
just talk
and
about
collect
stuff?
flowers and talk and maybe have some coffee because we do like coffee?
Yeah, we can have some coffee or tea, whatever you want to do. We can
Oh my
have a
God.
picnic.
We should go to a tea party. Dude.
Okay, so we're doing that.
I want to
We're
go to
gonna-
a tea party. So let's want to laugh
so-
with other women.
I think that it's like it takes this time to actually get there because I think a lot of women they conform into what we've been saying. They go to shopping events or they're.
I feel like it's hard for women to make friends too because we
Yeah,
all have a wall. We all have a
we
wall
all
up.
have a wall.
But I think
right?
it's
And
because
we're all busy.
as a woman in this society, we have to keep a wall up. We have to keep up. We
Yeah.
all have to keep a facade.
It's true. Oh, the safety
You can't
aspect
trust.
for
Yeah,
women.
you can't trust
Yeah, there is a safety
because
element.
we can't trust men. And then it came to a point where when certain women started acting like men, we can't trust them either.
Yeah, it's true.
What happened? What happened to the village? That whole competition that goes with it.
Competition. Just like going to the village aspect of it. Well, it just depends on where you're at. You have a village, like my cousins, like they marry into a family they've got it all together. They're all really act as one. And so then you marry into a village or you're born into a village. But then if you don't have that,
You have to create
like
one.
you have to create one. And that's what I feel like we're at.
Yeah.
But also too, the society or how our environment, we don't need a village as much anymore. Like, so at one point in history, we need people to help us build our homes so that we can not die.
Yeah, now we pay people to do it, but you can't pay for a friendship.
Yeah.
You may pay as in, I'm going to buy stuff and hopefully entice you to keep me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to pay for it. There are people who do that.
There are people out there. No, for sure. No, there are.
Hey, if you need a friend.
Hey, anybody out there? Yeah, us. No, like there's definitely that transactional because people maybe they don't know how to create real friendships or people don't want to make the effort for that and they feel like they have to get something out of it.
That's a red flag. I think you should stay away from those people.
For sure. But I also see that and I have experienced that and it doesn't work out, and
there's how many people are there in the world? Right. How many people?
7 billion is
whatever amount of people in the world. And you're telling me you can't find one friend that you could genuinely, create a bond with. That's a problem. That's a problem. You're part of it. I know that I've heard people say like, they don't have bridesmaids, they don't have this, they don't. So they hire people to do that, right? It's fun. What's funny about that is that people don't hire them because your bridesmaids will fall through or whatever. Right. But they end up being friends with these women after because look at something so big in your life, so impactful. You think someone could be like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
After this.
No.
But I love that as women that we can do that. We have to put down the wall. Look. Yeah. We have to put down the wall. That's it. It's again, like you said, the safety aspect of it. As long as, excuse me, and I'm really big on that. You as a woman, have fun, do whatever you want to do, as long as you're safe.
Yes.
Do whatever you want to do, 100%. As long as it doesn't hurt anyone else, as long as you're safe, do it.
100%. I couldn't even say that enough or say that better myself.
We need to live our lives.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing here. Whatever else that happens. Also hire us as bridesmaids. Oh, I'm down. I'm so down. I just need to fix my hair and then we'll be fine. That's fine.
I will cry on the spot. Tell me, Q, cry. I'm crying. I got
what
you.
to say.
Literally, I got you.
I'll say all the speeches. If you need somebody to kick somebody out of a bar too, we can do that. We can say all the things that you need.
Oh man,
we got you.
So wait, what's your zodiac sign?
I don't have too much to say about it, Clarissa, because I'm a Gemini.
I like Geminis.
Yes,
I personally like Geminis. I know people say a lot about them, but I like Geminis.
Okay, what do they say about them? Because I know it's you have 2 personalities.
They say they're two-faced, right?
Two-faced.
Every Gemini that I've came across so far, I've liked. So and they say two-faced, but I don't think I've seen it to that extent. I feel as human beings, we're all two-faced because we all have to protect ourselves.
You know what I can't say about that is that we're good actresses or actors. We are good actresses. We can adapt and we can understand situations where we have to act a certain way in this situation and then be this way in other situations, but that still keeps to our genuine self, but however, there's probably some Geminis out there who use that to the bad for
no, he's a Gemini
way.
Kanye West.
Shut up. My gosh. He is?
Yeah.
Well, that makes total sense. He uses it and that's the way that
he's also a Gemini. Kendrick Lamar.
No
but he uses it the way that we want.
We want, and that's healthy. Kanye is out there in that's a whole nother conversation.
He's up with the aliens.
He's extraterrestrial. I love Kendrick Lamar.
Mhm.
I only aspire to be him as an artist. And I think that also his relationship is really healthy. Like he's been with his
Since the
OG
beginning.
girl,
Yeah.
since day one, and they're still going. You
Mhm.
know what is I had to say about that? But we don't see his woman on the internet, or she doesn't really
Yeah,
have
she
like
keeps herself.
yeah, I think when you're in that dynamic, I think that's really, really good because
You need the
that
balance because you're the public. You're in the public
Yeah.
eye all day long.
yeah. And I feel that she does her other thing and it makes her other successes without being in a spotlight and without having a camera on her.
Mhm.
And that works. And I think that's really healthy, especially if you're at an artistry level.
Yeah.
He soars. He's on another planet as well. Like he transcends
Yes.
the stars for sure. I only
And then there's
aspire to
Kanye.
be him. So those are the polar opposites. of
Yes, I'm a
Gemini.
Gemini.
And I lean toward Kendrick for sure. I don't really know much about my astrology sign. I think let's do
Gemini
it.
woman attributes. You're versatile, curious, and you're an intellectual
Oh
personality.
my gosh.
You guys are ruled by Mercury.
Yeah.
We're ruled by the sun.
Okay.
You're ruled by Mercury.
Mercury.
They're fast learners, exceptional communicators, and highly sociable.
Okay. I would say that's me. So I wasn't always highly sociable, but once I became that, it was easy for me.
But you guys are also
always that way.
indecisive.
Yep.
And it says you're
Yep.
surface level focused and you're inconsistent.
Yeah.
Surface level
Yeah.
focused because they want to know a little about everything. I'm that way too. I think it's because of ADHD, but that's
Okay. So do you think that you developed ADHD as a mom or as an older? As a
no.
woman,
I'm
or
pretty
have it-
sure because I remember I was the same way when I was younger.
Okay.
But that's another thing with Leos too.
Get it out.
Is that I get bored easily. So me being a Leo, me being ooh fire, there's a fire there, there's a fire, there's a fire here, right? Again, I'm very a lot of earth signs too.
Yeah.
That's where I'm grounded. So once I'm honed into something, I'm honed into something. But I'm gonna see something shiny and be like the Spider-Man meme. Just I want this, I want this, I want to try this, I want to try this. So no, I've been this way since I was younger.
Okay.
So this ADHD is a mix of both me being a Leo and that.
I would say it has. I definitely have ADHD since I was younger, but it didn't really manifest and kick up, or it just
Also,
more enhanced.
we
when
didn't
older.
talk about it. Our
Right.
parents, at least my parents, they didn't know
That's-
anything about it.
right,
Like it
right.
was again going back to on the topic of like taboo topics, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to like mental health, they didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Our parents.
No.
Now it's like, oh, you have ADHD. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. We're just gonna self-diagnose everybody. But yeah, when we were younger, it was not talked about. That's why we self-diagnose narcissistic men all day long.
That's also not talked about enough or a lot.
It's not enough, but a lot of them carry a lot of those traits.
That's great to continue on about mental health. If women are or kids are undiagnosed with ADHD, we're only seeing that adults now are understanding their mental health like now and what that means, especially after COVID. You know, men, they reject that. They've always rejected that. So
Mhm.
they're walking around undiagnosed with something.
And why do they reject it? Like it makes them less of a man
Yeah.
because they don't have it
Yeah.
under control.
Because it hurts their identity. They
And
have
their
to
ego.
change and their ego, and they have to change it. Oh, that's weak to think about your mental health. Actually, it's healthy to do. And
It's
we should
very,
all try.
very
And we need to do that. Going back to me being a Gemini, am I a what? Earth, water?
You're an air sign.
An air sign?
Hence the versatile. You just
Oh my gosh. Cool. Okay, that's me.
Sagittarius, Leos, and Aries are fire signs. We love
Okay.
to be the life of the party. Again, the center of attention because we're
Yeah.
fire, we're vibrant.
Yeah.
We're top of that. We are very chaotic, a fire spreading around,
Fiery.
and argumentative.
But we love that. We love
I
that.
like to debate.
Debating is fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't say argumentative. But it's a good
discussion.
time. It's a good time. Okay, it's a good time. All the people that I work with,
What?
90% of them are fire signs.
Are they? Oh my gosh, it's so perfect. That's so perfect. I feel like, what do you like to debate about or have discussions about? Everything and everything? Okay.
And I am very much grounded to where I know when to say certain things and I know when not to. I think this came with time as well and me
Mhm.
getting older,
Mhm.
where I know which battles to fight and which ones not to anymore. It's kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, when I love deeply, but I also know how to detach. I've got to the point where, in my life, at least, I know when things don't serve me anymore, just to let it go. I'm not fighting for that anymore.
I cannot be more happy for you, Clarissa. That's such a healthy point in your life. And we have to learn that once we're there and once we're learned to let go and to move on. That is so beautiful. I can't even express it because that's hard for women. Like it's hard for women to let go and just to not be so defensive, like about things or to hold things because we hold a lot.
We do.
We hold a lot.
And we don't need to anymore.
We don't need to.
Ladies, we really don't.
We don't.
It puts so much in it.
Yeah.
It weighs us down. And
yeah.
We already hold so much when it comes to our families, our careers, and our own emotions and whatnot, and finances.
Pressures.
I can only imagine what it's even to hold on to all these little things in life that don't matter, that won't matter within the next couple months, years.
Exactly. I think small problem, big problem, and then really honing in on that, and then letting those things go.
Yeah.
Love that, Chris. Okay, I did want to segue back into debating and about women in politics because the big topic right now, we're going to have elections. California's going to have a new governor, and what that means and what that looks like. So, do you debate or have conversations about politics?
I don't really know what's going on. Really, I'm going to be completely honest. I know what I see, what I see on social media. And I kind of hear a little bit of that. Honestly, I try to steer away from it because I'm in a different part of my life right now. I'm not saying that I don't want to know what's going on, but I feel I consumed so much of it at one point where it was becoming very toxic for me. So I will pick and choose what I want to hear, and I won't dwell on it like I used to.
Do you think this is a very toxic time in politics?
I think politics is toxic all around. I know we need it. We need to be able to set guidelines and rules, but I don't think that the way that politics are ran is ethical, honestly.
100%.
It goes back to just stepping on each other's necks.
Do you think it was ever ethical?
No.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's also about who has more money.
Yeah.
And whose campaign looks better.
Yep. 100%. I mean, mainly, I agree with that because it stems from we see who our president is. Like, how is that ethical? Just what he's done and his history.
It's not.
He
just has the money.
Yeah, he has the money, the influence, and the power. And I do think there was an element of luck because our Biden didn't do it. He didn't do it as president. He was a Democrat, and so then everybody's also desperate. They wanted to see some change and some real hope, and so they
change. That's why our gas is $6. Right?
That's why we're starting wars now. And want that kind of change.
That's why it's what I bought. I purchased food, right?
Yeah.
I think about 10 items. It cost me like almost $200 change.
Yeah, that's the change. I mean, I saw that. I was like, I'm not going to vote for that kind of change.
Yeah.
But people were so desperate, I think, that they're like, we're going to try it
They were
again.
trying to use the tactic of like
what?
Tough love. Like, oh, if we have him as president, then everyone is going to fall into line. And now we're all screwed. Thanks.
Chaos.
Yes, now we're all screwed and none of us can make ends meet. And no matter what we do, it's kind of crazy.
No, 100%. I think so. So for me in politics, I am with you in terms of I was on the back burner because it was really toxic. And then I just really, I think that what happened? I mean, there was opportunities locally for me to get involved and I started to do that. And actually, recent events like with Renee Good and all of that, like I knew that there has to be actually, no, I remember the biggest reason I even step into politics now is because I see we're doing what we've done in 2016, right? It's happening again. And where does it end? We've marched. We've protested. We're out there with signs. We've shouted on megaphones. It's like, what do we do? I have to do something else now. And so then getting into it and meeting with people, men and people in power, I have to try that.
Level the playing field.
Which is why we love to see women going for Congress in California, and we support all of that. And I think that's also what I want to dive into is women in politics and having those conversations. I don't really need to get into the nitty gritty because we know what it is. It's unethical. It's toxic. So then
it's toxic masculinity. That's what politics is.
True. It's 100%. And so then it's, well, how do we deal with that as women? And I think there is an element of that we have to partake in. But then I have to figure that out because we have to set boundaries. I don't want this to happen again where we have this toxic president that we keep voting in, and he keeps doing shitty things. And then we get screwed because
and there's a camaraderie again, once again, as a man, him being the president and other men are just flocking and following his lead sheep because.
And then we could get onto that because then he did have two women. He had the attorney general and then the Christine Nome who directed Homeland Security, and they're gone now.
Yeah.
He fired both of them. I think the only girl is left is the one, but one of the ones that's really in the media is the girl press secretary, I think it is. And of course she's this blonde white lady, and
it's anyone that's going to agree with him.
Correct. As he tells her what to do.
So anyone that's going to fall in line and be subservient to a man.
Yeah, but when you have men or women in their own positions and their own powers, we're only letting you have that for a little bit. And then you're going to be the first ones to go. So I think in Clarissa, but also with that, this is part of what we do. If we form together as women and we move forward together and we make that effort
together. Have you seen
together,
Handmaid's Tale?
Oh my God. I have seen that show 3 times.
Okay. I'm not going to lie. I've not seen it fully.
Oh my God.
But I do know the basis of it.
Okay. If anything, read the book. Just read the book.
But it very much reminds me of that where, can you explain what the show's about?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I would love to explain. So the show is based on the book by Margaret Atwood. The premise of the show is that the world went into this apocalypse, and the apocalypse was women were not fertile anymore and they were unable to have children. So then the world panicked, and that happened because there was some toxic fumes or something anyway in the world. And so then the world went chaos, and then a bunch of men decided that we're going to save it by using religion and traditional values, and we have to control this by controlling women who are fertile. It wasn't that all women weren't fertile, but so there were women who were, but you didn't know. And they wanted to control the reproduction, right? So then they did that.
Controlling reproductive rights. Okay. Sounds familiar, huh?
So they did it to the extreme level. And that extreme level meant that they went out, they sought out, and they captured these fertile women and then put them in this controlling environment, controlled them with religion and traditional values and power.
Kind of bring us back in time.
Yeah, back in time. Nothing new again. But the show is, oh my gosh, you have to watch it. It is so healing for me to watch it. And there's so many parallels within that show. But anyway, back down to it. The show, it revolves around a story of one woman, and they have an alias name that is Offred. Offred is her name in the show that they've given her, but her human name is June Osborne. And so it just shows her life and how she has to escape, and the trauma and the brutality and the hate and all the things. And it's what I want to say. One more thing Claire says, that it's not just men coming at her roles. There's also women too in that environment. Again, nothing new. So, but if anything, read the book. Everybody should read the book because the show can be a lot. It could be triggering. It's also long, and I really enjoyed it, but
I need to finish it. I don't finish anything when it comes to movies or shows.
I love movies and I love media, so I was so about it. But what I do want to say, they do have, actually, no, it's maybe not going to help, but they do have another series now. They ended it, and they have another series coming out, so I'm really watching that. But that's why you see now in politics that Handmaid's Tale.
And I've seen people when women are protesting, that's what they're wearing.
Yep. Because it's really happening, and in metaphorically, and there's so many.
It's been happening. We're trying to put our foot down now.
Yeah. So, and that's why I am interested in politics for that reason, because I want to learn how to maneuver through that and through that power, and with still being okay. So we'll see how that goes.
Best of luck. Honestly, no, we need it. We need a change. We all need a change.
Yes, I think so too. I have to say one last thing about politics. Okay, there's this man. His name is Jack Tibbetts or John Tibbetts. You probably have seen his name somewhere locally, but he was a Democrat in Sonoma County, and I think he was a city council member or something. He was a hardcore Democrat, did all the things here, and then he got married, and his wife lived in, or her family lived in Oregon and had 2 boys. He was like, oh, we're going to move to Oregon to be with my wife's family. And now he's running as a Republican Oregon.
He was able to shed that skin.
Yes, he flipped completely. And now he's, Trump supporter, wears a cowboy hat, living his best man life. And I saw that.
He's following the masses, but that's okay.
He's following.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah, it's true. This is America.
This is the democracy that we were all given.
And
do some of us follow it?
Yeah, this is the right that we were given as Americans that women had to fight for.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Thank you everybody for being here. And this is our 3rd episode. More great things to come.
More to come.
Yes, we have more guest appearances coming up. Stay tuned. On YouTube.
Yes.
On
YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
And TikTok.
Be on all of them.
And a little bit on Twitter.
And on Twitter,
yeah.
Support us.
Yeah.
If you guys would love to, chit chat in comments or want us to talk about something, please let us know.
Yeah.
We're more than willing to. Yay!
Hey, Carissa.